Aloha, y'all. Daniel Aaron here. And today would normally be me reading from my book, The Art of Spiritual Leadership 40 Laws to Transform Your Life and the World. And a little shifting today because I am in the midst of a 30-day opportunity, having recently come out of the closet a bit with a title of the ordination that I received 31 years ago, non-denominational. One of the things I'm doing to celebrate that is to honor, I call it tithing, honor some of the most amazing and phenomenal beings that have blessed me with their kindness, their support over the years. My coaches, teachers, mentors, guides. And so the bridge today with the book is because, well, if you've been following around and following along, and even if you haven't, the part that I'm up to in the book is speaking about my sister, and won't give anything away because the truth of it is already well public, and I've shared about this in other places. I have a sister who killed herself years ago, and as you can imagine, it was a big, heavy deal for me, for my mother, for a lot of us, and one of the most profound, important times I've ever experienced in my life is thanks to my teacher, Judith Kravitz, who has become a friend and a colleague and always is an inspiration to me. So I'll go back in time. 1996 is when I experienced my first breathwork session. And in this session, I won't tell you the whole story here because I've told it in other places. However, a few profound things important. One, I got to see a limiting belief just pop right up and say, this is going to work for everyone but you, right? Which I was really lucky in that moment. I realized, like, that's stupid. And so not true. Whew, okay. And as soon as I did, wow, that launched me into a really powerful experience, scary even. I had the upwelling of so much pain. I can scarcely think of a time in my entire life, and I've been to some low points, can scarcely think of a time in my entire life where I was in that level of agony. I mean, sobbing, my neck arched back like this. And second important thing, there was a moment of switch, of, quote, coming to a new way of understanding. And in that moment, what I realized, a few things. One is that breath, I had the experience of it. I didn't know it intellectually yet. That came later in my training. Breath is the key to feeling. Breath is literally life. Breath is what allowed me to feel all this stuff that I was trying so hard. I was succeeding to some degree, keeping back under the surface. Yet, of course, it was ruling me, affecting me, controlling me. So that breathing allowed me to have it all come up. I also realized that I wasn't going to die. It took me a little while to get there. And I realized that this incredible pain and guilt that I was holding around my sister and her suicide had been joined with my love of her, right? And when they were mixed up together, the whole thing was impossible to be with and really negatively affecting everything else in my life. So as I came through that experience, fourth realization, I had a healing, I had a peak experience. That's what Abraham Maslow calls it. And part of why that was so important to me is because I'd had some before, like call it enlightenments, Kundalini awakenings. I'd had some really profound insights before. However, every time it had been either through some kind of substance, something I ingested, or random, like it just happened. And in either case, it was a bit scary. I was a bit, quote, out of control. I realized, though, with the breathing, and it was so freaking simple. It was amazing. So simple, yet so profound, that through breathing, there is a method. There's a methodology to create that peak state. So by the time I finished that session, I was like, I want more. And happily, gratefully, I was able to join a professional training with Dr. Judith Kravitz shortly thereafter. If you're looking to check her out, she's still training people, right? And this was 1996. That's when I trained with her, got to assist her. I learned so much, not just from what she taught me about breath, but from who she was. And I mentioned yesterday about a teacher, guide, mentor for me, Pat Schneider, in the writing world, who was my first experience with unconditional love. Judy was the second. And when I think back about even now, my entire life and all the beings that I've been with, some really phenomenal, quote, enlightened teachers, they're the only two that I can think of, actually, that I have experienced unconditional love with. That's big. That's profound. So even now, so by the way, I was telling you how to find Judith if you want to. I'll put it in the comments also. Transformationalbreath.com. That's it. Transformationalbreath.com. She healed herself from cancer. She started in this work in the 70s. She got guidance and evolved it. And still for me now, what is it, 96, 06, 16, 28 years since I did that training, I'm still leading people with transformational breath. I'm still working with the insights I got. I still use it consciously to help free myself when there is emotion that I find myself resisting, right? It's access to spirit. And so I'm ever, ever, ever grateful to Judy. It's amazing to me that she's still teaching. You can also find a great episode where I interviewed her on my show, The Art of Vibrant Living Show, theartofvibrantliving.show.com. Look under past episodes and you can find Dr. Judith Kravitz. And with that, so blessed am I with so many great, amazing teachers. If you would like more info on what is this, me coming out of the closet as a minister and using that title, there's a link also in the description here to something I wrote about that. And if you get questions or comments about any of this stuff, I welcome interaction. And if you would like some support in your life, if you want to take your life to the next level, whether it's healing, growing, creating whatever you want, be that income, impact, creating better relationships, creating yourself into the influence that you know you can be, let's talk. Reach out to me, direct message, or send me an email, daniel@danielaaron.com. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate you.